Tips to removing dust from air. Eliminating airborne dust is an important part of my cleaning routine. House dust can easily become airborne, and that's the problem with dusting. That's why I avoid dry dusting with feather dusters or dry cloth. Dust is really harmful to our health. Here are some tips on how to properly remove dust. Dust properly. The thing that I always remember when I clean surfaces is to do it with a damp cloth, sponge, or microfiber towels. If I use these materials, I can at least decrease the chance of making dust airborne as I wipe surfaces. I always start on the top and work my way down to avoid suspending too many dust particles in the air. Also, I always make myself aware of some dry dusting cleaning products that contain toxic materials that may attract dust. When I buy dry dusting products, I make sure to check its content so that I would know which is the right product that I should buy. Clean bed linens. More often not washing sheets regularly puts all of the accumulated dust in contact with my skin. So, I make sure that I clean my sheets, pillows, and pillowcases at least once every week in hot water. Vacuum regularly. To avoid stirring up more dust, I vacuum my house regularly. I use a vacuum with a built-in HEPA, high-efficiency particulate air filter. A HEPA filter works by forcing air through a fine mesh that traps harmful particles such as pollen, pet dander, dust mites, and tobacco smoke. I also make sure that I change the filter regularly. Some people can get by with vacuuming only once in a week. Others, especially homeowners like me that have dogs or cats that shed, need to vacuum more often to avoid their shed from becoming airborne and cause allergies. Mop the floors. In mopping the floor after vacuuming, I use a wet mop. I make sure that I use a non-toxic cleaner. Non-toxic cleaning products keep the air you breathe clean. Also, it's an environmentally friendly product. Experts also recommend using warm water with a dash of soap or vinegar. You don't have to worry about the smell of the vinegar because it evaporates quickly. Keep dirt out. I place a high-quality doormat in front of my doors and make everyone take off their shoes as they come inside my house. Doing this will cut down the amount of dirt that will come inside my house. A lot of dust in our homes comes from the people entering the house. They bring the dirt and dust from outdoors and enter my house with the dirt accompanying them. Maintain your home. I weatherproof doors and windows and seal up any cracks and crevices indoors to avoid dust from accumulating in hard-to-reach areas. In that way, I can minimize the number of particles entering my home. Use air purifiers with HEPA air filters. As I've mentioned earlier, HEPA filters minimize the dust and dirt in the air by filtering in a fine mesh that traps the dirt and dust. I make sure to use high-quality filters and change them regularly every few months or at least every season. If you're like me who uses forced air heating and cooling, you should do the same thing to minimize dust. It is also a good idea to use a room air purifier, but I do not recommend ozone-generating purifiers since the ozone irritates the lungs and they do not remove dust. Skip the clutter. I keep my home tidy and try to minimize clutter. It will speed up the dusting process and keep dust traps under control. Like what I've done, you can get rid of carpets because they are the major dirt collectors, and avoid fabric-covered furniture when it is the time for a change. Eat at the table. This may be a strange tip, but it certainly helps in removing dust from the air by staying at the same place of my house when I eat. Moving around the house while eating may cause more food debris to fall on the floor or on pieces of furniture, which will attract more insects, which means there will be more insect parts and food debris that will eventually end up as dust. Keep the windows closed. As much as possible, I keep my windows closed. If you have heard of someone saying that keeping your windows open can reduce dirt, do not believe them, because keeping those open will only increase the numbers of particles that will enter your house. These microscopic dust particles are not just an issue for cleaning but can have a negative effect on your respiratory system. They can cause allergies and sickness, and even cancer. Without a good method to reduce dust, you will constantly breathe in more and more of these dangerous tiny things. And the most suitable one for the job is an air purifier with a true HEPA filter system. A true HEPA filter is rated to capture small dust particles as small as 0.3 microns in size with 99.97% efficiency. The 0.3 micron size was the hardest size to trap and the most easily drawn into the lungs. The technology of True HEPA has a dense filter for trapping these dangerous dust particles. It means microscopic particles do not have the opportunity to get mixed in with the air. As a result, it'll prevent you from getting those microscopic particles into your eyes or inhaling them into your lungs.